Fuck it, let's do it. You know what, I'm going to restart that intro for a sec. Well, hello and welcome to this Thursday's movie news. I am Jonathan C. Walsh here to speak about some movie news. Who would have thought it's up there? And I just says it. I had to redo the intro there because I didn't have my watch on, and to be frank, it's been incredibly warm here in Scotland Shire for the last couple of weeks, and I've got a tan line where my watch is, so I don't want that god awful white tan line being on my arm as I do this show. But look, the first topic I'm touching on, the headline of the show, is coming in from James Gunn's very own mouth. He's been speaking about the future of superhero films and what they must do to remain relevant, in a sense. He said, well, he doesn't actually give us the blueprint of what you actually have to do to make them remain relevant. He just says they have to change to remain relevant. So I've put down there in that little topic bar, do superhero movies need to change? And I'll get into that shortly, but it's coming in from Screen Rant. It's coming in from various sources really, but I've just chosen to use Screen Rant because I like to use multiple news sources. I like to use multiple websites to feast my eyes upon when I'm doing a show. Just plain luck I chose Screen Rant for this very topic today. As you can see, there's a bold James Gunn working with Idris Elba on the set of the Suicide Squad, set to come out later this month. This man has been out speaking about a multitude of different, that was a strange way to say it there, a multitude of different things regarding his future. He's been speaking about the differences creatively, the freedom bestowed upon him in DC and Warner Brothers comparative to Marvel and the MCU. And he's even come out and openly says that he doesn't think there will be a future at Marvel after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is done, it's out. He thinks he will be kaput. Is that how you use kaput? I think it is. And he's going to potentially move over to DC, but he is allowed to be unleashed. He's allowed a little bit more freedom. He doesn't have an all-seeing figure above him in Kevin Feige giving notes, a little bit more structure to the movies. You have to have rhyme and reason with the way you finish movies, because that's then to connect into a bigger world, and it impacts upon other stories as well ultimately. But look, man, he's been out and he's been speaking about his concerns for the future of superhero movies and what needs to change for them to remain relevant. Gunn first began his career primarily as a writer for Trauma Entertainment before venturing out into solo screenwriting with films such as Warner Brothers live-action Scooby-Doo movies. I didn't mind them, I have to say. I actually quite liked those movies, and I didn't even realise it was James Gunn. I didn't mind them. I grew up with Scooby-Doo as a young kid, the classic cartoon TV show. Whilst the live-action movie wasn't quite as good, or movies, apparently there was two, or multiple, I only thought there was one. They weren't quite as good as the cartoon ones. It was alright. It was a decent attempt at it. And obviously Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake, he would finally get his chance to shine in the director's chair with the 2006 horror movie or comedy Sliver, which received rave reviews from critics but was a financial failure. And he's been revisiting the superhero genre recently over at Warner Brothers because he of course famously gets sacked from his role in Disney for tweets that he put out 10 fucking years ago. No one is allowed to change over at the Mouse House because if you make one mistake you're done, which I keep saying is ironic because if you look at the founder of Disney, Walt Disney, very checkered history indeed, a strange guy, often promoting racist undertones in movies and stuff like that, and checkered history. So it's a little bit pot calling the kettle black in that instance. But look, he's back. He's doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, allegedly, to everything I just said, incidentally, in case Disney come in and knock on the door. It's alleged. I fucking says. It's not my views, Disney, so fuck off. This is what he had to say, though, about the future of superhero movies, his thoughts on maybe what they have to do to make them remain relevant in an ever-changing film landscape. He's had this to say: we know about the way cowboy films went and the way war films went, and I don't know, I think you don't have to be a genius to put two and two together and see that there's a cycle to those sorts of films, and that's the only hope for the future of the comic book and superhero films, is to change them up. They're really dumb and they're mostly boring for me right now. I loved them at the beginning. I was really excited when they first started making those movies. It was about the visual effects when I saw Superman as a kid. I still love the movie. Okay, I know that it's a guy on wires and blue screen with this sort of crappy visual effects. And then, when Iron Man came out, I was in. You're able to make the guy fly around, who looks like a guy flying around. And that was a beautiful thing to be able to do. But if the movies don't change, it's going to be really, really boring. Now, I do agree with him. This guy's worked with the likes of Kevin Feige. He's worked on the opposing side with DC. I trust this guy's views on film. He's a very, very talented man. And he knows what he's fucking talking about. So if he says that they have to change and they have to do something a little bit more innovative behind the camera and in front of the camera in terms of script and actual performances on the screen, then I tend to believe what he's saying, and I tend to think that's something that should be very, positively thought about by the likes of Kevin Feige, the likes of your man over at Warner Brothers. I don't know who he is. J.J. Abrams is now having a big say with things over at Warner Brothers, his bad robot company, doing a lot of producing, potentially producing the next Superman movie. I feel my jaw clicking and it's annoying as hell. I've been getting some issues with that all day. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I'm getting lockjaw and I'll be screwed. I can't do the shows anymore. Oh well, if I do, just crack my jaw and we'll get on with it again. Fuck it. But yeah, I agree with what he has to say there on some levels. What I don't agree with though is this concept that they have been mostly building. He does qualify it by saying, for him, they're really dumb. I don't know if that, there we go. I don't know if I quite agree with that assertion from James Gunn. I don't think they are really dumb. If you watch the likes of WandaVision, and I know it's not a movie, but it is connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's a superhero property. I wouldn't say that WandaVision was really dumb. I wouldn't say that Loki was really dumb. It was all very coherently interwoven with the MCU. It's all going to be coherently interwoven into this next sort of multiverse concept of Phase 4 and 5 and beyond. I wouldn't say they were necessarily dumb projects. Having just watched Black Widow, I wouldn't say it was a necessarily dumb movie. It was an intelligent, Scorsese-esque, Tarantino, Nolan-esque, cerebral fare. No, it wasn't. But it wasn't dumb. It was a nice little movie and I enjoyed it. And that's ultimately what I get out of most of these superhero movies. Nice popcorn flick. You can go there, you're transported from your troubles in the world. It's escapism in its purest form. And it doesn't have to be a Scorsese movie. It doesn't have to be a fucking Hitchcockian kind of movie, a Kubrick movie. It is what it is, and it's there to be enjoyed. Now, do they have to change? I absolutely do think they have to change. But I think they're in the process of doing that. Certainly at Disney already, they are dabbling with TV and making a real good fist at this streaming stuff. And they just exploring the characters long form in a different medium. I think that's changed already. Getting to look at the likes of Sam Wilson and James Buchanan, Wanda Maximoff, Vision, most recently Loki. Introducing new faces, introducing different concepts, exploring it over 6 hours. I think that's different already. They're starting to do things. And also changing it to multiverse concepts and dabbling with cosmic things in the MCU. I think that's different. Dabbling with Oscar-winning Best Directors and Chloe Zhao coming in and doing a story set over thousands of generations in the Eternals. I think that's different. I think we're doing different things here. I'm not involved at all. I think they are doing different things. So I think they're already aware of the fact that they have to be innovative, and we're seeing that behind the camera as well, with of course the technology that Jon Favreau has brought to The Mandalorian. I don't know if he's brought it personally, but he's worked in conjunction with ILM to create this huge, sprawling, encircling screen technology which whisks the actors and the filmmakers to the very place that they are creating the movie in. Which landscape it is, I don't know. It depends on the movie. I think Taika Waititi was using it in Thor: Love and Thunder. And also it's been utilised in multiple TV shows now. So they're already being innovative behind. They're doing different things to up the performance of the actors, up the enveloping, the immersion of these worlds. And I think in terms of screenwriting, they're already doing different things. And look, you can go way back to 2016, I think it was 2017, 2016 with Logan, and we've seen that with James Mangold. We got a sort of gritty western-esque movie meeting superhero, and I think that's something that's going to be happening in the Phase 4 as well. We're going to have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, the great Sam Raimi coming in, potentially delving into some horror flourishes within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what I'm saying in a sense is, I think that he is right. They do have to innovate, they do have to do different things, or it will get stagnate and become boring. We can't just keep seeing the same identical action kind of movies with the same painted by numbers beats, because it will get boring. People will ultimately, we will have a flop at some point. It's inevitable, and people will start getting bored, and they'll not be parting with the hard-earned cash, and they'll not obviously financially backing this cinematic universe, it will all fucking die in a trash heap. So he is right, but I think there's signs that they are switched on to that. They are actually trying to do it. Now, in terms of what was I going to say, I was going to say something before I went off in that fucking sprawling gibber session. What was I going to say there? I was going to say something pertinent to this. Yeah, ultimately, I do think it's inevitable that we will see cycles in film. We've seen this. We had the rom-com era in the 90s. We had this horror era that comes and goes every now and again. You've always had drama ever present in film, going way back to the 40s, 50s, all the way through into the current day. It's cyclical. We will have people ultimately moving away from comic book movies. And look, me and Stephen had a great discussion about this not that long ago. And ultimately, I do think there's only so far you can go with this Marvel universe before you have to start broaching the idea of rebooting. Because we've not got Tony Stark now, we've not got that big presence of Iron Man, we've not got Captain America and his Steve Rogers form, we do have Sam Wilson. And can you really do big storylines like Marvel versus X-Men or Avengers versus X-Men without those kind of personalities? So I think at some point they will have to end this coherently and then go off, maybe have a 5, 6, 7, 10 year break and then reboot the entire thing. So that'll be a cycle in its own right for Marvel, at least. So he's right, it's cyclical, and we were speaking about it and I says, look, ultimately people are in for comic book movies just now, they're enjoying it. A lot of geek fans of a certain age, 40, 50, grew up with these novels, these graphic novels, now getting to see their dreams realised on the big screen, the silver screen. But they will, ultimately, it'll fade away and it will be cyclical. We'll go back to fucking rom-coms, we'll go back to slasher horrors, we'll go back to drama movies. Fuck knows what we'll go back to, but the likes of Scorsese and directors of that ilk will have their day once again. The likes of Meg Ryan and Julia Roberts, I don't want to put Julia Roberts in there, but Meg Ryan, Jennifer Aniston, actors of that ilk will have their day once again. With rom-coms, it's all cyclical. But look, man, will superhero movies need to change? Absolutely, they will need to change. They'll have to become a little bit more smarter in their screenwriting and just delve with different genres within genres, like Mangold did 4 or 5 years ago, and it will be fine. I'm sure it will be fine. We have to just continue doing what we're doing, bring in directors like Waititi, Chloe Zhao, and everything will be fucking hunky-dory. Certain of it. But look, moving on to the next topic, it's another movie that I am looking incredibly forward to. I seem to be speaking about movies that universally I'm looking forward to on this movie news show. I tend to avoid things I'm not looking forward to. Stephen usually is the person who puts in things that we're not looking forward to, because it gives you a different dynamic to the conversation, different dynamic to your thoughts on it. If it's something you're a little bit abrasive against, it's a little bit abrasive to you, it assaults your senses, the thought of it. But on a show like this, when I'm talking myself, I tend to stick to safe stuff and stuff that I'm looking forward to. And look, I certainly am looking forward to June. I spoke about a nice little, what was it? Was it a little, I think it was a poster, what was it they released? Did they release a teaser or something? I spoke about it recently anyway, and I did say at that point they were setting up for a second trailer. We'd only had one trailer that was way back last year when it was originally supposed to be coming out in November 2020. Well, we've got a second trailer now, and I have to tell you, watching that trailer, just fucking astonishing what Denis Villeneuve has managed to accomplish here with this cast. It's a sprawling cast, a very talented cast, a very diverse cast, and lesser directors may have issues utilising that cast, getting the best out of the likes of Chalamet, Zendaya, with Josh Brolin and Jason Momoa and David Dismalkin and Rebecca Ferguson in there as other figures, but not the main figures. You'd have some lesser directors may have an issue with getting the best out of that, but this guy does not have an issue getting the best out of it. This guy can do all manner of movies. He can do sort of duology movie with Ryan Gosling's, your Harrison Ford's in Blade Runner 2049. He can do it in the likes of Arrival with Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams. And then he can do different things like Sicario, the triple leading with Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin. And now he's doing a big release where it's I want to say a good half dozen to a dozen big names in there, and it seems from this trailer, and I don't want to judge it off the trailer because it could be a big flop and I may be eating my words, but it seems from the trailer that he is getting massive performances from every person in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson, quite quiet in this. I think at one point the Duke, is it Duke Leto? Is that what his name is? Even though I'm not sure, I need to go back and check that out, but it's Oscar Isaac says to his wife, I believe it is Rebecca Ferguson, at one point, look after Paul for me, whatever happens. And that's the only real point in this trailer where you see him opening her mouth and saying anything. But she's an ever-present figure sort of brooding, worried for her son, worried for the future of the family, worried for this conflict on Arrakis. And then of course you get Timothée Chalamet front and centre as he should be, and just a fucking epic trailer, man. You've got that beautiful sort of goldish outfit, armour, his sparkling blue eyes. There's so much going on in here. I don't know if they've actually utilised a lot of images from this trailer. I don't think they have. I can't look at the trailer, sadly. I did that and make copyright striked, but huge, big epic conflicts in the desert dunes of Arrakis. Big towering ships getting destroyed. Jason Momoa's in there, ready for action, well up for it. You've got Oscar Isaac bantering off of Josh Brolin, smile. I am smiling. Just the aesthetics, the epicness of it. This planet perfectly captured. Sandworms in there. Unbelievable. And quiet moments too, with Paul Atreides having these foreboding dreams about Arrakis and about this mysterious young lady with blue eyes. Fucking unbelievable trailer. If I was excited before, having watched that trailer, I am even more excited now. The screenplay from, I think they're saying John Spates and Denis Villeneuve. The source material from the great Frank Herbert. Or Herbert, I keep calling him Herbert. I'm even more excited now having seen that trailer. That is promotion and artistry at its absolute pinnacle. It's just unbelievable, this movie. I think it's going to be incredible. One of the great movies. This guy's not had a bad movie yet, Villeneuve. He ain't going to start with this. Everybody surrounding this says it was an incredible experience being with this guy. Everybody surrounding it says that he put work, blood, sweat and tears into this like he'd never did before with a movie. And look at his fucking filmography. It's going to be special, man. And I just keep praying and praying that HBO Max, that AT&T, that Warner Brothers come to their fucking senses and stop this nonsense of putting this out concurrently on the streaming service. This movie should be seen in a theatre on the biggest screen. I'm going to IMAX to watch it. That's where it should be consumed, nowhere else. It's an abomination to put this on an iPad, to put it on a small screen in your house. Give this movie a chance to earn big fucking money when it comes out later in the year. Hopefully the pandemic is gone and it gets a chance to come out finally later in the year. Give it the chance to succeed. Give Denis Villeneuve the best opportunity to create a sequel and expand a franchise out of this. Cannot wait for it, man. Incredible trailer. Just unbelievable. Timothée Chalamet as well. I just can't. I don't think I can speak highly enough of this guy. Just unbelievable what he's accomplishing. I think at the tender age of 24, he's got everything. The guy. I'm jealous, incredibly jealous of him, man. He's tall, he's dashing, he's got the hair. The women are after him. An incredible fucking, what would you call it, thespian. Just cannot wait to see the movie, man. But wait, I'm moving on to the third topic. There's actually 6 topics in this show tonight. That'll be interesting to see if I can get them all done before I have to take my dog out. He's kicking, screaming to get out of the house for a walk. But yes, DCEU why it hasn't kept up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe to date. Well, I think it is actually a writer, and the writer is, I'm going to look over, the Dark Knight writer, David S. Goyer. This guy's been out speaking a lot today, incidentally, or in the ensuing days since this article got released. I think it was probably today, actually, 2 hours ago. There you go. He's been out speaking a lot about a multitude of different things. And in this case, he's been speaking about why the DCEU has failed to keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm going to go right down to it and just read his thoughts. I'm not going to muck around reading crap like this. As you can see, he was a writer behind everything from Blade to Man of Steel. And this is his reasons for why this cinematic universe hasn't quite hit the heights that Kevin Feige's Marvel one has. I think it's pretty obvious stuff, but we'll read this man's more articulate, expert thoughts on it. I think one of the issues is that Marvel had consistent leadership for the 15 years or more, whereas DC hasn't. And he was speaking to the Hollywood Reporter when he said this, an esteemed publication. There have been all of these changes in terms of who's running DC. That is fundamentally very hard. It's hard to make any headway when leadership is changing. One of the other things that's made Marvel incredibly successful is all their adaptations are true to the source material. Ant-Man feels like Ant-Man. The Hulk feels like the Hulk. They don't try to change things up, I would say. Try to hew closer to what was the original intent. So it's having a consistent universe, having consistent leadership and staying true to the source material. I think he spoke again about some other stuff, if I'm not wrong, further down the article. And this is what he had to say. I don't know what it's in regards to, but it's this to say comics beta test all these ideas. When you have characters that have been around for 30, 40, 50 or 60 years and you've seen certain storylines bubble to the top again and again, that should tell you something. I call it story Darwinism. Survival of the fittest, yes. The best will always rise to the top. The cream will always rise to the top and get skimmed off. You're absolutely fucking right, man. But we'll get into which thoughts are. Those are the ideas or themes that are sticky, that are consistent, because for whatever reason, from decade to decade to decade, they keep working. Even though some of the elements around them change. So anytime I adapt something, I always say, can we identify the 10 core elements that make Superman Superman, or make Blade Blade, before we even come up with a story? Let's just sit down and come up with 10 things we can all agree on. Then let's make sure that we don't break those commandments. That is an absolutely incredible insight into some filmmaking, some screenwriting, when it goes into script writing, I should say, when it goes into the process of making these movies. I love seeing this. I love being a sort of fly on the wall into the process of crafting big movies like this. And look, I'm one of the few people, I think, in the planet that really enjoyed Man of Steel. I thought it was a fantastic Superman movie. There was some big personalities in there. I really, really enjoyed it. Some people seem to have an aversion to it, they hate it. I don't know why. I thought it was an indication that Henry Cavill deserved more time with that character. Sadly, he's not got it, and that's a crime against humanity for me. But a great insight into this guy's process in making movies. I wish that was a process that was ever present when making the Star Wars sequel trilogy. What is the 10 things that are fundamental to Luke Skywalker? What is the 10 things that are fundamental to Han Solo? What is the 10 things fundamental to Leia, to Star Wars as a whole? And fucking mine out of that, and don't break the commandments. See if they had stuck by that commandment, that mantra, that ethos, for lack of a better term, those movies would have been 100 times better. I want to see this fucking guy making more movies now, man. I'm sure he's not going to be shot for work. He's a very successful man. I want to see this guy utilising this process in future DC movies. We will see more successful movies if he does. And what he says is ultimately true. It was chaotic behind the scenes at Warner Brothers DC when the likes of Justice League were happening, when the likes of David Ayer was being trampled on, and 10 minutes of footage was getting cut of Jared Leto's Joker out of the Suicide Squad, when they were deciding to do stupid things like cut that movie up and make it a Frankenstein's monster, when they were doing stupid things like not allowing Joker to be the main fucking man in a movie and making Harley Quinn the main character. And look, I love Margot Robbie, I love the character, but you don't make the Joker a romantic interest of Harley Quinn. That is a bastardisation of the comics, of the source material. That would break the commandments that Goya is speaking about there. It was chaotic, they lost leadership, there was meddling. They were going for this 2-hour mark in the Justice League. They stepped on the toes of Zack Snyder, a man you can love or hate, but he had a clear plan for the Justice League, I should say, and for this universe. It may have failed, but he should have had the chance to implement his ideas. So he's right in what he says there, man. That is why it's not worked. It's been chaotic. But I think another reason it hasn't worked is that fundamentally DC have a very different tone to Marvel, and they have very different characters in a very different universe, and I think their universe lends itself better to standalone projects, standalone movies, standalone trilogies. You don't have to connect everything into a fucking universe because Marvel are doing it. And I think they've now realised that, and they're doing that, and they're utilising that very well. We're going to have a standalone Flash movie. We'll get standalone Aquaman movie, standalone Wonder Woman. We're getting a Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, and we're hopefully going to be getting a very successful, very different Superman standalone story. Do your thing, do it different. Marvel have just been very successful as well. We've spoken about this many, many times on here as well. Introducing lesser known characters and making them pop. Ant-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Lesser characters, Hawkeye's a big fixture. Not even having access to bigger names like Wolverine and the X-Men and Fantastic Four, that was locked up in Fox. Not having the core rights to Hulk, he is a Universal character, property. And making that work, I think that is a testament to the leadership of Kevin Feige. So he's absolutely bang on in everything he says. And then ultimately at the end as well, what he says about stories, the same stories rising to the top again and again and again. It's absolutely true. And I don't know why that is, but it is true. And that is probably the key to succeeding. That's why we get multiple Batman stories told again and again, multiple Spider-Man stories told again and again. People are interested in the origins of these characters and seeing different takes on it. Wait, man, I don't know what the future is, but I think DC have got the finger in the pulse now. I think we are going to see some really, really fucking good movies, and long may... I don't know what I was about to say there. Long may it come. Is that what I was about to say? I don't know. I was about to say it and I thought, does that make sense, John, what you're about to say there? It's long overdue, that's what I'm going to say. There you go, that sounds better. I love DC, and I just hope Marvel continue their thing, and I hope that James Gunn's fundamentally fucking wrong what he says. I hope that these studios understand that they have to change, and we are going to get some very different superhero movies in the future. Matt Reeves certainly seems to understand that detective, fucking heavy Batman stories, finally. It's not all Baron. It's not all, vigilanteism. There's a bit of brain in there as well. He's the world's greatest detective after all. I'm pretty fucking sure he is. That's not Hercule Poirot. Pretty sure that's Bruce Wayne. But look, moving on to the next topic. I was like fucking Partridge here. Tell you what. I was like Partridge here. I'm turning into Alan Partridge. Cheeky tit. But look, Halloween ends. Halloween ends. Maybe the end of Laurie Strode as we know it. That Laurie Strode being Jamie Lee Curtis's take on the character. Because she's been out speaking, and she's been speaking about the actual process behind the movie. And why it may be exciting, I don't know, we'll get into it in a minute. But first and foremost, she's saying that it may be the end of her stint in portraying this character in Halloween Ends. Now, I say her stint, I didn't actually say it there, but as they cleverly write there, it may be the end as Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, because I'm absolutely certain we will get more Halloween Michael Myers movies in the future, and we will get another version of Laurie Strode, because they just cannot stop themselves mining into this iconic character, mining for stories with this iconic character. They may be good, they may be absolutely terrible, they don't care, they'll keep coming with or without Jamie Lee Curtis. But her stint as a character may be finished. Hello T3 Media's, welcome in. Hey guys, just stopped to say hi. Are you guys on TikTok app, the TikTok app by any chance? I put my clips of my live show on that app. We're not, I think that's the only thing we're not on. I don't know if Stevens maybe get plans for that. I don't really deal with the whole social media side of things. I just plank Mars in front of the camera and speak a load of crap, really. But I'm sure at some point he'll think about that. TikTok's an application, a media that I try to stay away from. I'm 32 years of age now, and I view that as young kids, man. And I go on it sometimes and I lose an hour of my life to it. But yeah, maybe he'll think about it. It's an interesting thing to do, man. You're keeping in with the young crew there, so that's probably a smart thing to do there. Is it Chris that's on now, man? That's a smart thing to do. Maybe I have to think about that. You're ahead of the curve with that one. Yeah, but yeah, I try to keep away from TikTok. It's a drug. It's dangerous. My little niece is on it. She actually makes videos on it. I can't dance, so it's not the platform for me. But yeah, man, Laurie Strode, what she had to say. Jamie Lee Curtis has had this to say. I would say, given that I know about the next movie, I think it will be the last time that I will play her. No shit, Sherlock, you're a bit old now, Jamie. And I'm not saying something like, oh, because I die. It's nothing to do with that. I'm talking about emotionally. What they have constructed, I think it will be a spectacular way to end this trilogy. She absolutely will die. I am telling you right now, she will die. I have got it mapped out. Me and Stephen were speaking about this in a previous show. The only logical conclusion to this trilogy is to kill both Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in the same act. It's the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. They have to cancel each other out. He's just going to keep coming for her. If she keeps surviving, this fucking guy's never going to go away. He'll keep coming. In no sane universe can Laurie Strode survive and Michael Myers die. It just can't happen. They have to take themselves out. That's the only logical way I think it's going to end. I think it's David Gordon Green who is involved in this trilogy, who's directing it. I don't know if he's doing the scripts, but for me, that is the most logical way for this to end. And that would jive with what Jamie Lee Curtis is writing and that are speaking in that quote there. I think it's going to be the end of her stint as a character. It won't be the end as a character. As I says, they'll continue these movies on with a different Laurie Strode. I don't want it. I think it'd be an abomination, but it will happen. I think she's going to die. I think she's let the cat out the bag there briefly by saying it's not like I'm dying or anything. I think you are going to die. And I think you know you're going to die as well, Jamie. You fucking lying. Yeah. But yeah, she's been out speaking about the third movie. We're not even into the fucking second movie yet, and she's speaking about the third movie and why it will be different. And what she's saying there explains why it'll be different. Right, okay, so let's get into her quote before I move on to the final fucking... Is it the final topic? It's not, it's the penultimate topic I'm getting into. I'm speaking so much here, I'm losing the fucking plot. This is what she had to say. No, this is David Gordon Green. It says this wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis. It was David Gordon Green. Nice to see my brain works at times. He had this to say. He elaborated, I get engaged by doing something different. If I was just going to be repetitive, I would hand the reins off to someone else. When you have that opportunity within an established franchise, it's really fun to think about how you can show different tones and perspectives and involve I was just speaking about the MCU and the DC side of things, and just other superhero projects in general, why they have to evolve, they have to do something different to remain relevant in this ever-evolving cinematic process, this film industry. You have to do something different. It's very heartwarming to see that David Gordon Green's trying to do something different within a franchise which has been done to the death. It's bleeding now. It's been stabbed to bits by a metaphorical Michael Myers. We got those Rob Zombie movies. I've not seen them, but apparently they were fucking shite. So we really do need to do something fresh. And look, I've been yearning for that, because that first Michael Myers Halloween movie that he was involved in, it was okay. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't special. It just felt like an identikit, hit by hit movie that I could churn out involving Michael Myers. Hopefully we get the real ingenuity, the real innovation moving into these last two movies of this trilogy, because look, he's a fucking great character, he's iconic, and Laurie Strode's iconic as well. I played Dead by Daylight, they're both on there, so they're iconic. They've touched pop culture for nigh on 30-40 years now. I have to watch the last Halloween film. Is it going to be a trilogy? It is. The last Halloween film was okay, man. As I says, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't special either. There's always moments with Michael Myers where you're cringing. Nah, man, I fucking cringe at night. I think he's going to come out of corridors and stuff like that. Going to come out of cupboards. Fuckers lived in my head rent free for my entire life. He's terrifying, man. And that's William Shatner, incidentally. His mask they used. So what does that say? I love William Shatner. Doesn't make sense. The original from the 70s, the last one, that was a retcon, and then this next one, yeah, it was a retcon. No, I don't know if it's a retcon. I think this one is a sequel to the original. I think they did away with the Halloween 2 and all of these subsequent movies, and this is a sequel, a continuation of the original Halloween from 1978, I think it was. So that one still exists. That last one was a sequel to that, and now they're expanding out and creating a sort of quadrilogy. Is that what you fucking call it? I don't know. A trilogy with the original. So I don't know whether it will work, man. I'm hoping it does. As I says, there's potential with this, and certainly Rob Zombie didn't get the potential out of it. It was fucking terrible. And just what they're doing with it, man. Well, they're kind of hinting at that in the last trailer, that he gets more paranormal, he becomes more immortal as he kills more people. But I don't want them to do psychological, like, paranormal stuff. I want it to be an out and out fucking human being in this mask, just psychotic, stabbing people to bits. When they start going all paranormal for that character, it loses something palpable for me, so I don't want to see it. But look, I am moving on to the penultimate topic. This one saddens me greatly, and it worries me for June and the final quarter, the final third of 2021, and potential movies coming out in theatres. Because if I don't know who it is, it's actually doing A24 it is. I thought there was a bigger studio involved in the process, but if A24 are getting concerned about this movie's potential to make money in theatres, to the extent where they're actually cancelling its theatrical release in the United Kingdom of Greater Britain and Northern Ireland, then it worries me, man. It worries me. What is the future for MGM, for Bond? Well, it's actually Amazon that own MGM now. What's the future for No Time to Die? What's the future for Dune? For the other Marvel movies moving into the later half of this year? Are we going to see an instance where this pandemic rears its ugly head again? Numbers go through the roof. Confidence in the theatres and the experience of going to the theatres dies, and we get another fucking lockdown and no more movies releasing this year. I can't take that, man. I want to get back to the theatres and watch big fucking movies. And I tell you what, man, I really enjoyed the look of this one. A24, I spoke about them before. They were looking to sell up for a potential, I think it was 8 billion or something like that. And someone actually commented in the chat about this movie and how they were looking forward to it. It reminded them that was an A24 project, property. It's a fucking exciting looking movie, man. It's kind of fantasy in its nature. It's Dev Patel, a great actor. And it saddens me to see that it's 2 weeks ahead of its time. What is this? It loses its 2 weeks ahead of it potentially coming out in theatres. It's lost its theatrical release. They go on to speculate in here that it could be a studio at a streaming service that's bought it up. It saddens me, man. It saddens me. I was looking forward to seeing movies like this and getting back and enjoying it. I've been to see A Quiet Place. Been to see, what was the other one I went to see? The Conjuring 3, Black Widow. It's great being back in theatres again, and I want to continue enjoying it. And the studio, the theatre I go to, View, they do a great job of making it safe for everybody. It's social distance if you want it. You've got the sanitizer. People come in and check. It's as safe as you can possibly make it. So it saddens me that these companies could potentially be hitting the wall if we go the wrong way getting into the end of this year. And it fucking worries me for June as well, as I did say. Right, but they ignored all the other Halloween movies that came after the original, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's why I said retcon in a way. Yeah, they ignored it, and that's the right thing to do, because ultimately the best Halloween movie that's ever been made was the 78 one. Every other one after it was diminishing returns. Some of them were abominations that shouldn't have seen the light of day, and haven't seen the light of day for me. I think I've watched the original, the sequel to the original, and H2O. And then also that one from a couple of years ago. That's the only Halloween movies I've watched. I missed the Rob Zombie ones. I hope he wasn't involved in H2O. H2O wasn't a great movie. It wasn't. It was serviceable at best. But yeah, that's what they're doing, man. You're absolutely bang on. They are retconning everything that came after the original. And hopefully it's a nice process going into these last two movies. I've got high hopes for this Halloween Kills. Thank you, Harley. Shaking your head there. Big Labrador shaking his head off. Hopefully I've got high hopes for it, man. Apparently a big, kill. Amount of kills. Of course it's called Halloween Kills. And then getting into that original Halloween Ends. It could be special if they get it right. But look, yeah, it's sad that the Green Knight's not coming out in the theatres. But look, I'll watch it come what way, no matter which way it is. Be it on Amazon, be it on Netflix, Apple. I've got them all. I've got every fucking streaming service going. So I am sure I won't miss it. But look, going into the last topic of the show, it's one of my favourite directors of today's game, Jordan Peele. He's had, I believe, 2 movies, and they've both been absolutely incredible. Get Out, I should say. I'm thinking about the Beatles. Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya, and Us. Really social, how shall I put it? Social, I can't think, satire. It's really satirical, social ills kind of movies. They explore the world. Jordan Peele uses his incredible directing, his incredible brain to deconstruct the ills of the world and portray it to the audience in a way where it makes them think. And he does it under the housing of horror, one of my all-time favourite genres. So you have to understand, I fucking love this guy, and I've loved his first 2 movies. And I love what he does for minority communities and what he does for representation. He's not going to put the poster boy white guy and white girl in this movie. He's going to do his best to represent black people in these fucking movies, and he's going to put them on the screen and give them a chance to succeed. And I love that, man. And look at Daniel Kaluuya, he's now an Oscar winner, and I feel like he would have got there anyway, but Jordan Peele was giving this guy this foundation with Get Out to go on and have that career, and now he gets it. He gets his Oscar. So look, I fucking love this guy, man. I'm hugely excited for this new movie that's coming out. I didn't even know it existed until today, I'm not going to lie. I don't think anybody knew it existed until today, because he's actually announced the movie with a poster, the very first poster. And look at this poster, man. It's called Nope, incidentally. I love that. It's quite simple. Us was quite simple. Nope, equally simple. Look at this fucking book. And Daniel Kaluuya's in it again, by the way. He's in it again, I meant to say that. Let's load, come on. Fucking 700 download speeds, man, and I can't get the poster. It would have been better not bothering. It's fucking better than the actual article. Let's bring it back up. Where is my mouse cursor? It's over on the other monitor. Let's just bring this up. That's better. Look at this poster, man. It's so dark. It's so atmospheric. I love the colour palette. I love the setting of this little town, illuminated in darkness. It's claustrophobic. You're penned in. Stephen Yeun's in there as well, another guy I fucking love. Watched Minari fairly recently. I love this guy. Been watching him since The Walking Dead. Yeah, I don't know much about Keke Palmer, but I'm sure I'll know about it when this movie comes out. Great cast already for me. But yeah, I'm really just speaking about this poster and what I think about this poster, and the ballsiness of releasing a poster as the introduction to his next movie. Look at this, man. It's like a kind of, what do you call that again? Bunting flying in the air. You've got this solitary cloud. Just unreal. Just an incredible poster. What a way to announce a movie. I don't know if I've seen that done before. You announce with a poster. But that's the kind of thing that Jordan Peele can do now, because he's fucking made it, man. This guy, yeah. When you have a run of success like he's had, man, you can do anything you want to really announce a movie. I might not be what it might not be what I think it is, but the black community, that's something that we see a lot when we are faced with a scary movie situation in real life. We turn around and go the other way and say nope. I think you're absolutely right, man. I think you might be right. That's something I say as well, and I'm not even fucking black, by the way. I say nope and I turn about. See, when I'm playing Dead by Daylight and I see Michael Myers coming round the corner, I say nope and I fuck off. So I think that's universal, but you're absolutely right. That was coined by the black community, 100%. A lot of things that white people consume now were given to us by blacks, or were fucking culturally appropriated by us. a lot of things. But man, look, really excited for this. I love this guy, I love what he's brought us, man. 2 absolutely great movies in a genre that I love and I've grown up loving. I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 6 years old. I wasn't enjoying it, but I was watching it. And I've only really grown to appreciate this genre as I've got older. Cannot wait to see it. Cannot wait to see what this brilliant mind gives us once again. He's on a par. What am I doing? He's on a par with all of the modern day directors, the likes of Denis Villeneuve, I was going to say Stephen Caple Jr., but yeah, he's only done 1 movie, so I'll take that back immediately. He may go on to be a great director, but he's on a par with the likes of Nolan and fucking Tarantino and stuff like that for me. I hope he goes on to have a great career and continues this gold run with Nope. But look man, that's going to round the show up. I'm talking a load of shite. It's getting late here, it's warm as hell. I think it's about 17 degrees and it's currently 11:45 at night. That's about, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I know the Americans use Fahrenheit. I think it's double it and add 30, so what would that be? That'd be 32, 42, no, is it? Fuck, 72, 62, it's about 60 degrees here, Fahrenheit. That's warm as fuck for Scottish people, believe me. But let's go to round it up, man. Anyway, what's your thoughts on the topics I touched upon? Do you agree with James Gunn that comic book movies, superhero movies, if you want to call them that, have to do something different? They have to evolve over the coming years, or they will face becoming stagnant, becoming boring, repetitive. Do you think they have to do something different? You can comment below if you've got anything to say about that. What do you make about the other topics I touched upon? I'm going to bring them up just now because I can't actually remember what I fucking touched upon. Thoughts on David S. Goyer, the writer of Man of Steel and many other movies, his thoughts on why the DCEU failed to keep up with the MCU. Do you share those thoughts? What do you make about Halloween and the Green Knight, and finally this announcement from Jordan Peele of Nope? If you've got anything to say about it, if you feel compelled to share your thoughts, you can comment down below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future, and you will get it, guys. And follow us on Twitch as well, we're over there as well. How can I forget? We always get consistent couple of viewers over there. It's a hard nut to crack, but thank you very much for people who are watching us over there. We do fucking appreciate it, and we will be trying to do something specific for Twitch at some point. Maybe dedicate a show to Twitch solely, because it's a different space, it's a different vibe, and we'll do it. But look man, that's me done. I'm talking shite. Bye bye. Thank you very much to T3 Media's Chris for coming in and commenting. I do appreciate that. You made it a better experience. I like to speak to people. Sometimes people come in and talk, sometimes they don't. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's even warmer in fucking Texas than it is in Glasgow.